The delivery room was filled with a heavy silence, broken only by the muffled cries of a newborn and the labored breathing of a dying woman. Meera's frail hand clutched her husband Raj's trembling fingers, her eyes glassy with unshed tears. She had fought for so long, not just through the excruciating pain of childbirth, but through years of silent torment. Now, as the life drained from her body, she knew the secret she had carried would die with her. "Raj," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Her husband leaned closer, his tears falling freely. "Please, take care of our child. Never let him suffer." "Meera, don't speak like this," Raj pleaded, his voice breaking. "You'll be fine. You'll hold our baby soon. Stay with me, please." But Meera's gaze had already begun to fade, her lips parting one last time as she tried to form words she couldn't bring herself to say. How could she tell him the truth now, after all these years of deception, fear, and agony? How could she tell the man who had loved her unconditionally that his father was the reason she was dying? 6 years earlier, Meera had married Raj with dreams of a loving family and a fresh start. Raj was kind, gentle, and attentive, a husband she had prayed for. But her joy was short-lived. Within weeks of moving into their home, she felt the weight of her father-in-law, Veer, watching her. His gaze lingered too long, his words carried double meanings, and his presence was suffocating. One night, when Raj was away on a business trip, Veer cornered her in the kitchen. His voice was cold and commanding, his grip on her arm unyielding. "You belong to this family now, Meera," he hissed, his eyes narrowing. "You'll do as I say." Meera's protests were met with mockery and threats. Veer was a powerful man, deeply connected to influential politicians and police officers. He painted vivid pictures of the ruin he could bring to her family, her parents, her siblings, if she ever dared to speak out. The first time it happened, Meera cried for hours in the darkness of her bedroom, her body trembling with disgust and shame. Raj returned the next day, unaware of the nightmare his wife had endured. She wanted to tell him, to beg for his help, but every time she opened her mouth, Veer's threats echoed in her mind. The abuse continued, a horrific cycle of pain and silence. Meera became a shadow of her former self, her laughter replaced with forced smiles, her once bright eyes dulled by sorrow. When she discovered she was pregnant, her heart shattered into pieces. She didn't know if the child growing inside her was Raj's or Veer's. The thought haunted her every waking moment. Raj, oblivious to the storm brewing within his home, was overjoyed at the news. He doted on Meera, doing everything in his power to make her happy. Meera clung to his kindness, wishing with every fiber of her being that she could erase the darkness that Veer had brought into her life. The end of the road. As Meera's labor progressed, complications arose. The doctors worked frantically to save her, but her body was too weak. Her years of suffering had taken their toll, and she lacked the strength to fight any longer. Raj stood by her side, his heart breaking as he watched the love of his life slip away. When the doctor finally declared her gone, he collapsed to the floor, cradling the newborn son Meera had given her life to bring into the world. In the weeks that followed, Raj struggled to piece together his life. He poured his love into his son, determined to honor Meera's last wish. But as he sifted through her belongings one day, he found a hidden journal. Page after page revealed the horrifying truth of what Meera had endured. The words bled off the paper, raw and agonizing as Raj learned of his father's monstrous actions and Mira's unbearable silence. The journal ended with a single tear-stained sentence. I endured this so you and our child could live in peace. Forgive me for not telling you, my love. Raj's world crumbled. The man he had revered as a father was a monster who had destroyed the woman he loved. And now it was too late to save her, too late to tell her he would have fought for her, protected her, no matter the cost. Clutching the journal to his chest, Raj made a vow. He would raise their son to be a man Mira would be proud of, a man who would never let darkness consume another innocent soul. And he would ensure Veer paid for every tear, every wound, every broken moment of Mira's life. But no justice could bring her back. Mira's absence was a wound that would never heal, a reminder of a love silenced too soon by the cruelty of the world.